Hello, I'm Ben Lands, Executive Advisor for APC Media. We're here at the CGRE 2025 International Symposium in Montreal, Canada, interviewing thought leaders and experts in the power industry and bringing those insights to you, our readers, around the world. Our next guest is Alexei Miecznikowski.
Great to meet you. Thanks, Ben.
And here at CGRE 2025,
Yes.
tell me, Alexei, how did you get into the industry?
Well, I'm a relative newcomer, only in the industry about 10 years. But I spent 20 years in the global electronics supply chain before I was exposed to this industry. I was really excited about the opportunities I saw. And, I saw many of the societal challenges at the time manifesting in this industry.
Okay.
And so an opportunity came along to enter, and I was able to take this role as the CBO at Northern. But the experience I had in the other industries, I think, is serving me really well, actually.
So you're in the electronics industry. You saw the need in the power industry, and you got recruited to Northern Transformer right away, or?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So that's a great background. A lot of us have the electronics, and the 1980s and 90s were exciting about power was almost boring. Now power was exciting. We talk about electrification, load growth from AI, all kinds of challenges, and you're in the center of it now with a transformer.
Yeah.
It's manufacturer, right? Northern Transformer. So tell me a little bit about Northern Transformer and your mission.
Yeah, so we're a power transformer manufacturer, liquid-filled power transformers based in Ontario. We've got a almost 50-year history. We were founded in 1981.
Okay.
And the company was it grew in like a hothouse of the Ontario market for many years when no one was serving the smaller clients in Ontario. And that gave us a way to learn the industry and so forth.
The smaller clients are like the hydros and
local
owner
hydrogen companies,
Okay.
industrial commercial clients. And that carried the company for about 30 years.
Okay.
And then the original ownership was, ready to retire. In fact, the one gentleman was in his 80s.
Okay.
And so we had a new ownership come in, very active and involved chairman, Giovanni Marcelli, experienced entrepreneur, and he really wanted to grow the company. And he also understood the vision of, the renewal of infrastructure, the electrification, all the investment that would be required. So we saw this as an ideal vehicle to start on the journey. And so that's when I joined as well.
Okay.
And then so it was 2016.
Okay.
And so we set about, investing in people, facilities, equipment, all the things you would need, right, to be able to scale a company up.
So you had an existing plan.
We did.
Okay.
In fact, in 2016, we moved into a new facility that was purpose-built.
Okay.
And at the time, we said, this is our state-of-the-art facility.
Sure.
And we did a great job, but we learned a lot in the previous 10 years.
Well, I understand that you have an announcement to make here at CGRE 2025. I'm curious. Fill us in. What's new?
So, as I said, we learned a lot.
Okay.
And at this stage, we were ready, and our clients were asking for more. And so we were able to, working closely with our partners and clients, to raise enough demand and capital and momentum to announce a large power transformer facility.
Really?
Yeah. So we did the groundbreaking last week. It's a big deal, a really big deal.
My next question is really about the timing of all this, but we know the supply chain's desperate need of transformers. Everyone I talked to was talking about the need for new sources of supply chain, especially in North America.
Yeah.
So my next question was, do you think it's the right time? But I think it's self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
But tell me, what do you see in the marketplace that's driving this investment from your perspective?
Yeah. So I want to take a step back for a moment and say, the management team, our chairman, we really believe in two concepts fundamentally. And one of those is that we need to take care of our employees, and our employees take care of the clients, and the clients will take care of the business.
I love that culture.
And it's a very simple concept, but I think it was key to getting us to the point where we could make a decision like this and take the next step of investment, because we needed our clients with us, right?
Right.
And the second principle we have is mutually beneficial long-term relationships, which you can see fits together equally.
Right.
And so, 2 years ago, we had finished all of the expansion plans that we had for our existing site. And we sat down with our key clients and we said, what do you like about what we're doing? Could we do more for you? And that was the germination of where we are today, where, through a long-term, mutually beneficial partnership, we're able to go build a large tower transfractional facility. And we have the employee base that'll support us to get there.
And so the Toronto area has a great technical community, fast people and so forth. See, every history of power,
Electricity, true. Your components, there's a lot of knowing.
Research, great legacy. I know I did some work in Toronto years ago.
Yeah.
And the amount of technical people and skilled craftspeople, first, second, third generation immigrants, fantastic base to draw from.
Yeah.
So,
and actually, that was one of the pleasures I found joining this industry was that, we were fortunate in North America and specifically in Ontario to have most of the supply chain still there. And so we've been able to work with the local supply chain. I get almost 85% of my materials within 2 hours of the facility, which is a huge advantage.
oh, why? Yeah, that's a huge advantage.
It's
right.
If there's an issue, it gets resolved immediately. We have, very close relationships, so we can plan properly with our suppliers. It's really been a wonderful experience to have a domestic supply chain.
Yeah.
And of course, 10 years ago, it wasn't on the tip of everyone's tongue. But right now, with all of the issues worldwide, having a local supply chain has turned out to be a big enabling factor for us.
We sure learned that the hard way, didn't we? Through COVID and really just a lot of the challenges of just getting supply locally and knowing our suppliers. That's such a key point. So not just the culture of your internal workforce, but also the culture of your relationship with your clients, that long-term, let's work together as a partnership. Incredibly powerful. I always say, what's the saying that that the culture eats strategy for breakfast. Yes. Is that what the saying is?
Yeah. So I'd rather have a highly motivated team than the best process, or, there are different versions of that out there, but it's really all about the culture of the company. And, we don't underestimate process is important, but if you don't have a motivated team, you're still going to fail.
That's true. Don't want to scale mediocrity. You've got to have a team. That's fantastic. So you are excited about this announcement, right, of this new plant. Can you tell me a little bit more about the mission of the plant? I mean, you told me about some of the driving factors, your connection with the community, as well as who you're supplying. Tell me about the capabilities of the plant.
Yeah. So, on a technical level, it's a 750 MVA, 500 kV capable facility.
Wow.
So this is a real large power facility.
Main power transformer capable. Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So really heavy duty cranes. It's got a rail siding onto the land there for shipments. So, we really went through and methodically thought through how we were going to do this and what would make it successful.
Fantastic.
But like I said, the those long-term mutually beneficial relationships is also with the supply base. So we sat down with all of our key suppliers and made sure they were on board before we moved ahead. Right. We couldn't build a new facility and not have the raw material to be able to scale it up. So
What's been the impact? Have you announced this within your community?
it was amazing. I mean,
Really?
yeah, I could not have imagined a more welcoming response.
Excellent.
So the town of Venice,
Pro-business town.
fantastic.
And I would imagine there's going to be an impact on jobs as well, right? There's opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, the reality here in Ontario and probably in many other places is there's a cost of living crisis. There's also, and this may be a little more specific to where we are, but a lot of need for housing. But what the municipalities are finding is, yeah, they can allow a lot of housing, but they need jobs for all the people. And so a lot of the development, they have the limited industrial lands. A lot of those lands are going to warehousing and things like that. That doesn't generate a whole lot of employment. So when we arrived and we said, this is full-time employment, highly skilled engineers, technicians, even the factory workers are, highly skilled and well paid. You can imagine they were delighted and they were out of their way to
What a
help
great
us
story.
every step of the way.
Fantastic. So, from your perspective, also, we look at more of a macro view from the industry. What are some of the industry drivers that you're thinking about? Obviously, supply chain. Anything else that you're thinking about when you're thinking about the development of this plant and the timing of the plant?
One of the general beliefs that I have is that to help our clients, we need to take what for them is complexity and make it simple and make it easy. Because our clients have a really complicated challenge right now. The environment they're operating in, the regulatory masters, the political masters, conflicting requirements of affordability versus, climate change goals and so on. So they got a lot on their plates. They're also trying to digitize and so on. So, we're looking at what we're doing and we're saying, how do we make this easy for them? What would be the easy one at Creative Farmers? And therefore make it, good for us and a win-win, right? And so, let me give you one example. We've been working with Rheinhausen.
Okay.
And we announced last year a partnership with Rheinhausen where we call it Evolution, and it allows a digital platform for the transformer that's agnostic. You're not locked in, but it's with a really trusted industry partner, Rheinhausen.
Nice.
And, we're their launch partner in North America. And, we pre-train the team. And so it takes some of the complexity for the client and says, here's a modular solution that will repeat over and over. It's even simpler for them to specify.
Wow, that's great. I know specification's been a real challenge. I've heard about how many different transformer specifications there are in North America. It's insane.
It is.
But if we can help people simplify that process, that sounds like a great innovation.
Yeah.
Any other current challenges that you're seeing in the industry that you're excited to solve with this effort?
So, the number one challenge is always people. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, I find. And so for us, solving that challenge is a competitive advantage. So it's the thing I think about most. One of the reasons we picked the location we selected is we believe that we can leverage, there's a number of colleges in the area that already train they have utility training programs.
Fantastic.
And so we can adapt those programs to meet our needs. And so building that base of proud manufacturing employees, which I think has somewhat been lost in North America, right, is something we feel really strongly about. If you go back to what I mentioned at the beginning, the virtuous circle of taking care of your employees so that they take care of the clients, that piece of taking care of employees means training them, giving them a long-term career opportunity and a place they can be proud to work.
Have that vision, right? So I believe in your vision, knowing the mission, how to get there, right? And maybe some objectives along the way. Yeah, that's fantastic. So you have relationships with some of these.
Yeah, so we have existing ones, but in the location of the new facility, we're building some new partnerships, and we've been delighted to find they're already working with utilities and speak some of the same language.
Excellent.
So that really helps with our...
What a great story. That's fantastic. So as we start looking towards the future,
Yeah.
what are some of the challenges you see coming down 3, 5, 10 years out in the industry that you think we should be thinking about as an industry, or even specifically from a transformer standpoint?
Well, we're at Seagray, right?
Right.
And this is where people talk about exactly that topic. In fact, I was just in the plenary, and it was about having enough engagement with all of your stakeholders, and in Canada, rights holders, but in case of First Nations, to build a long-term plan that people can rally around. And so it's not something that happens just inside a company. It happens in discussion with everyone.
True.
And it's, that's an ongoing challenge, but it's where the rubber hits the road, right?
Right. I always say human communication is in a relationship, so the most important part of life.
Yeah.
And also some of the most challenging parts. We have to continually invest. And that's why we're here. We're here to invest in those networks.
Most rewarding part too.
Right. And that's great. And I know that Seagray 2025 here, that's what it's all about, right? It's about the networking, about sharing ideas, sharing communication of announcements, great announcements like Northern Transformer with you, Alexei. This is a fascinating time to be in the power industry. If we looked at maybe 20 years ago, it was almost a boring industry, right? But it's super exciting now. And announcements like this, where there's partnership and industry engagement, local community engagement, this is a great time to be in this industry, isn't it?
Yeah. Our founder likes to say, he was bold, and, first they called him crazy. Now they call him lucky. Now, everyone's heard that before, but, in this case, it really looked that way for a while because, in 2016, the wave hadn't hit yet, right? And we were already investing, and there were some challenging times, and now all those investments are looking like really wise investments. So
excellent. Well, as we come to an end of our interview here, is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience about your future ambitions, your desires for the industry, or something you'd just like to communicate to the industry?
Well, I really want to highlight that what those two values that I mentioned earlier in terms of the, investing in the people, to take care of the clients and so on, keep the client focus, and also the long-term mutually beneficial relationships. We have a proof point that it works.
Right.
We just
did a shortcut, but it's the right.
Yeah.
Right.
So our goal as a company is to keep doing that and find new ways to do it better and bigger and help, the whole industry, make this transition that we're in, and to do as much of it as we can in the communities that are footing the bills at the end of the day. And so
what a great vision. Thank you. And congratulations on your announcement. It's great to be here with you at Seagray 2025, Alexei.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you.
Well,